Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be using my mini Bookmakers Club kit from Everyday Explorers. This is the most recent kit, the Here's the Story kit, and I decided that I wanted to just do a whole little booklet in one go. So my husband and I went on a little weekend getaway for his birthday last month. So I have printed out all of the photos from that little getaway. I printed out extra because I didn't want to have kind of any extra pages. I wanted to use everything in one go. So this is what the booklet looks like. It's just a dot grid booklet here. And then let me also pull out the kit portions. So this kit comes with this stamp set. I may not actually be using a lot of this stamp set just because, I don't know, I don't feel like a lot of them will actually fit what we did. So I did also get the two memory keeping scrapbooking add-ons that were available. And then I have this stamp set from the long weekend kit, and I'm probably going to use a couple of stamps from this. I did look at that kit, but I didn't like the booklet as much as I liked this one. So I may or may not pull a couple of things out, but my goal in doing this is going to be to use as much of this kit as I possibly can before I start pulling from other sources. But if I do need some extra materials, I'm probably going to pull out the long weekend kit just to kind of see what phrases and stuff I have that I can use for that one. So it comes with a word phrase sticker sheet. These stickers, these are basically the stamp set but in sticker form, so I might not use these either. I could probably use some of the little images, but the actual words I probably won't use on this particular booklet. And then the labels, which I love, and I'll probably use most, if not all of those. It also comes with a little bit of paper. I have 4 sheets here. These are the 4x6 sides of the paper. Let me move my stuff around a little bit. So that's what these look like. I like all of these. And one thing I really like about getting the actual subscription is that you also get the digital version. So these are double-sided for 4x6 on one side and then 3x4 on the other side. So now if I wanted to use both, essentially, something from each side, I can just go in and print out the things that I want to do. So I've got all of these that I'm going to try to incorporate. I want this to be somewhat minimal, just because I'm going to be doing this whole book is my goal. So the next thing I'm going to do is just kind of flip through the photos. So my husband and I, like I said, went on a little weekend getaway. And we went and stayed at a hotel room, just one night, just me and him. So this was the photo of our room and our little view. This is a just selfie of me that I liked, so I wanted to print that out. And I have these in chronological order in which way that they happened. Then we went out to dinner. Then we took a walk on the beach, because the hotel that we stayed at was beachfront. And then here's a full page photo of the beach. this was the following morning. This was the view when we woke up. And then we woke up early enough to kind of catch mid-sunrise, the sunrise. So I took a couple of photos of that. Then I have these two photos here. My plan for these ones is going to be a full double spread of the breakfast that we had at the hotel. Then once we left, we actually went to a downtown area and walked down to a coffee shop, and I found this flower while we were walking, so I stopped and took a picture of it. And then this was the little coffee that I had gotten, and then while we were walking back to the vehicle, we found this painted wall, so my husband took a picture of me in front of the wall. This was while we were getting our coffee, a little selfie of the both of us. And then these ones just are in general selfies that we took throughout the night and the next day. I don't know if I will be using this one just because I didn't expect them to print so small. But we'll see. I may end up reprinting a couple of those. I'm not entirely sure yet. But yeah. So what I will end up doing is I'm not going to be filming everything right now. I just wanted to do kind of like my little intro before my daughter wakes up. So I'm going to come back probably on my lunch break and try and power through this and give myself about an hour, because that's how long my lunch break is an hour long. I'm going to give myself an hour and see if I can just whip this out in an hour. I won't be doing any of my journaling on camera. I know that much so far, just because I really don't know what I'm going to say just yet. So I will do my journaling off camera. I'm also planning to film like a little reel type video or a short type video of a final flip through when I'm done. So once I do have all my journaling added, it'll be kind of on that. I don't know if this kit is still available to purchase individually, but anything that is available, I will go ahead and link below. And I will see you guys back here in a little bit when I'm actually ready to film. All right, friends, I'm back. So since I am going to be trying to bust this out in an hour, I will likely be doing a voiceover if I have anything to say throughout the process. I did grab 2 more little photos here that I might want to use. And I also grabbed the long weekend stickers. So mostly because of the actual word phrase stickers. So I might end up using some of these, but like I said earlier, my goal for this project is going to be to use as much of the Here's the Story kit as I possibly can. So let's jump right into it. Before we do that though, I also pulled out some washi tape. This one I think I purchased on Etsy, and this is a Studio Calico washi tape, and I just really felt like the colors of the circles matched the kit really well. And I do want to start actually going through my washi tape, so I'm trying to use it as much as possible. Okay, now let's jump in. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is go ahead and stamp Love This Story from the kit stamp set on the cover of my little book here. I do smear it. I didn't realize that I needed to wait a few seconds for this to dry, but it is what it is. It's already done now. And then I'm also going to pull a word phrase sticker that says Worth Remembering, and I'm going to put that to the side of my stamped title. I'm going to skip the first page and then move on to the next page after that and kind of start fiddling around and figuring out how exactly I want to lay this page out. The only page that I actually had a plan for was the double spread full page photo, and that's it. I am kind of just flying by the seat of my pants here and just winging it. I did know that I wanted to use at least one piece of paper on every spread to kind of bring the patterns of the kit throughout the actual notebook. So what I decided to do was just cut down a strip from one of the pattern papers to about 3/4 of an inch, and then I just ripped that down to have like a nice ripped edge, and I put both pieces of that 3/4 inch strip on the edge of my pages. Now I'm kind of laying my photos out, and I decided that I actually wanted the outdoor photo to spread across the seam. So I just kind of trimmed that a little bit more than halfway down the middle. And I'm going to leave a little bit of space at the seam so the book doesn't have any issues closing. But I'm going to put those side by side. I really liked the way that that looked. And like I said, that's what I'm going to do with my double full page photo too. So that'll kind of repeat itself, I guess, throughout the book. About here is where I decided that I needed something else. Unfortunately, I don't have any background stamps from Everyday Explorers, so I pulled out my Dream Makers stamp set from Close to My Heart, and I'm using the text stamp set to just add some interest to the background. I'm going to stamp that all over, and I'm going to carry that through almost every single page through the rest of this notebook. The last thing I'm going to do before I move on is stamp down good times, and then we're going to go on to the next spread. I did say at the beginning that I kind of wanted to try and keep these simple because I was trying to just power through this and bust this out within an hour. So here we are. I had 2 3x4 photos of me and my husband out to dinner. I trimmed those down so that they're still 4 inches tall, but they're only 1.5 inches wide. I'm going to put both of those on one side and then use one of the 3x4 cards to mat the last minute collage that I had made of our food. I'm really glad that I did this because I love the way that this page came out. Here's where I remember that I wanted to carry that background element throughout the book, so I'm kind of going through and adding that in before I start adhering everything down. Some of these pages I am going to cover up the story number on the side, and then others I'm not. So I did actually go in and number each of the stories, but not on the pages that I had covered that up, if that makes sense. I did notice that for the most part, any pages where I did cover that up completely were kind of continuation stories from the page before. So moving on to the next page, I'm going to document us getting back to the hotel. We went to the hotel bar, got a couple drinks, and then decided to walk along the beach together. I am going to flip-flop these so that the beach sunset photo is on the right-hand side. On that side, I am covering up that story number, and then I'm not going to cover it up on the left-hand side. I did forget that I wanted my background element on this one, so you'll see me come back in and kind of re-add that a little bit later. Right now, I'm kind of trying to use up some of the actual like stickers. So I'm going to add love this story to our drinks. I added a little camera, and then I'm going to pull that up some so I can put a label underneath it. I did mess up that camera a little bit when I did this, so I am also going to pull out a word phrase sticker, and I'm going to put that right over the part of the camera that I messed up. Now I'm going in and kind of revisiting my background stamping. It's significantly easier to do this first, but there's a couple times in the video, I think, where I forget and then I have to go back in and add it after the fact. So like I said, I added that word phrase sticker, and that one said, remember this. So on this particular spread, it is kind of a continuation of the last spread. So I don't think that I add a story number to this one. I'm still kind of going off of us walking on the beach and then talking about what we did after we were finished with our walk on the beach, because we still did kind of hang out outside and just went and kind of sat at the bar and just hung out and laughed and did whatever. So I'm adding my background elements to this side. I'm going to do the tearing strip again for the side piece of the left-hand page. And then I'm going to kind of just mess with images and pages and see what I really want to do here. I'm actually going to flip to the next page and then come back to this one a couple of times, just because I felt like this page wasn't done, and it wasn't. So like I said, I'm going to flip back a couple of times and try to start the next page, but then just keep coming back to this one. On the right hand side, I actually only pulled that ripped piece of paper up about halfway, a little bit less than halfway through the page. I am going to add a word phrase sticker here that says good times, and then I end up adding another one to the left hand side without realizing it that also says good times. I just had picked it because it was blue after I did my journaling to clear up some empty space and didn't even look at the other sticker. So I'm putting a favorite memory stamp up at the top. It did not stamp well, and I decided not to care about it. So I just put that back and tried to move on. I'm flipping through, kind of seeing how everything flows together when I flip through. I'll do that several times throughout the video as well. Here I am trying to lay out the photos for my next page, and then I remembered that I made this collage. So I'm going back again. I'm going to trim out one of the 3x4 cards and actually make a little bit of a flip up so that I can put some journaling on that 3x4 card and then also have some additional photos behind it. So the only thing that I'm doing for this flip up is taking a piece of washi tape, putting it over the 3x4 card, and then folding it over so that it's on top of the photo as well. And then I'm going to open that up and add a second piece of washi tape to kind of hold it in place a little bit. And then I'm just only going to put adhesive on the back of my photo and stick my photo down to the page. And then that card will flip up and give me access to view the photos that I had placed underneath it. Adding this little flip up section really helped finish that page. I was happy with that, so we are finally moving on. I'm again starting with background stamping. I am not paying attention to what I'm doing with this stamp. Half of these words are upside down. They are actual words written on the stamp, but like I said, just not even paying attention. So half of them are stamped upside down, half of them are right side up. On one page, I even did it sideways. So I'm solely using it as a decorative appeal purpose to just bring some life to the page. The photo on the left I've mentioned is our view in bed of the sunrise. So I'm going to put a blue label sticker on top of that to kind of act like it's holding it down. Then I decide that I'm going to use my washi tape. You'll have noticed I did not use it once yet so far. This is the first and only time I'm going to use the washi tape that I picked up in the entire mini book. So, I mean, I guess I used it once, so that's good on me, right? I don't know. And then I'm going to place the other two photos kind of diagonal down the page, and I'm going to do my journaling sideways when I actually get to that portion of it. This next page is going to be really easy. It's just me taping down the two full page images, and the only thing that I'll add to this page is going to be a few word phrase stickers. So I'm going to add loved this time, fond memory, and then love this. And I'm going to do them on opposite corners of the page. And then this spread will be done. It's probably the most simple and definitely the most simple of the entire book. Moving on to the next spread, I'm going to document this flower that I found when we walked over to the coffee shop after we left the hotel. According to Google, it is a lily of the Nile, and I'm obsessed with it. It is so beautiful. So I took a picture of it once we were passing it. I made my husband stop so I could take a picture of it and made that a whole page on its own. And then when I did my journaling, to the left of this, or to the right of this page, I basically talked about what we did after we left the hotel. We decided to stop. And I also do most of my coffee talk for the following spread on this page as well. So after I get this picture adhered down, it takes me a minute to really decide what I want to do with this page. I'm going to do my background stamping again, and then I'm going to mess around with paper for a hot minute. I could not decide what print looked best with this picture. Ultimately, I decided that I'm going to use the blue, and I ripped that up. Maybe I cut that out. I don't know if I cut that out or not, me messing with all the paper. But I ultimately decided to use the blue paper, and I'm going to put it across the top and the bottom and also use that ripped look as well. After I finished my journaling, I didn't fill up the whole page, so I added the nostalgia sticker to the bottom of this page as well. Some of the embellishments that I used, I ended up adding after the fact because I wanted to give myself space to actually journal, and then I didn't have enough to, like, say, fill the page. So I went back in and looked at a couple other stickers, other options that I might have to fill that space up that I didn't actually use. I just didn't want any empty blank space. This next page is two separate stories. I actually leave the story number open on both pages. The next one is going to be a picture of my coffee. We went to Foxtail Coffee Co. And on this page, I'm just going to put this picture of the coffee, and then in the label that I add, I'm going to write Foxtail Coffee Co. And then underneath that, I'm going to put the drinks that Roberto and I had both gotten when we went to the coffee place. The following page, as we were walking back to the car, we saw this like beautifully painted wall. So I asked Roberto if he would take a picture of me in front of it because I loved it. And he was just cracking me up. He was trying to get like a natural smile out of me and was just being ridiculous. So he was cracking me up. And this photo that I actually printed out was me laughing and like holding my mouth, or I had my hand up to my mouth or something like that. But I actually loved it more than all of the quote unquote posed photos I took. So that's the one I decided to print out. Now I'm going back and adding a little bit more ripped paper, and I'm tucking it behind each photo as well. Here is another part where I'm going to struggle a little bit. I couldn't figure out the best way to fill that negative space above the photo of me. So I'm going to mess with a lot of different things trying to figure it out. I ultimately decide to stamp random story because it is a little bit random of a story, I guess, that we found a wall and Roberto was cracking me up to get a good smile out of me to take a picture. And then I'm going to take a piece of label paper or a label sticker, and I'm going to stick it down to a piece of the paper and then place that in between. I do tear the edges off of the paper to give it the same look that I've been going throughout this whole mini book, and then get that taped down. And I believe the last thing that I do is add So Funny to the page. Maybe I didn't record that. I might have done that off camera. Moving on to the next page, I'm going to use a large piece of patterned paper for the left-hand side. I'm going to use that diagonal paper. I initially thought maybe I wanted to place my photo then on top of that, but decided against it. I'm going to trim down my photo a little bit more to give me a little bit more of a border. And then what I'm going to do is rip the bottom of the patterned paper on the right-hand side. I did also have a little scrap of the like check paper. I'm not really sure what to call it, but I also, it's in the side of my video. I have a little scrap of that I'm going to end up ripping and using. You see that right there. And I'm going to place that underneath the diagonal pattern paper as well. Once I get that stuck down, that's going to be the last thing that I do on this page as well, and then I will move on again. I still had a couple pieces of paper left when I got to this point, and I wanted to do kind of an intro and an outro, so I'm going to flip back and forth between the front and the back of my book to kind of do those as well. I did add to this page a "This is how I remember it" sticker as well to kind of take up some of the empty space on the pattern paper. So I'm going to take the last 3x4 card. I'm going to trim it down just a little bit so that it's, I believe, 3.75 inches or something like that. And I'm going to place that over where the story number is. I will add a couple pieces of washi tape to this later on, and then I ended up stamping "Weekend Away." And then I'm going to flip to the back, backtrack a little bit. That stuff I did off camera. That's not going to be in the video. But anyways, so I'm flipping to the back, and then I did a little bit more ripping of that paper. I'm going to put the "This happened, and here's what happened," I think is what it says. It says, "So this happened, here's the whole story," and the scrapbooking sticker. And that is it. All right, so I think I'm done, aside from adding some journaling. And I used all of the papers and quite a few of the stickers, and I only used, aside from this close to my heart stamp set, Dream Maker, just here, and I only used the kind of texty stamp from that, I think, and then this Studio Calico washi tape. Everything else was from this kit. So let's do a quick flip through. I left the very first page completely blank because I'm going to put details about where we went and the dates on here whenever I do my journaling. And I probably might not even have that in the actual flip through that I do, because obviously it'll have like where we went and stuff. So this is the first page, and this was the room that we stayed in and our view. Then after we checked in, we went out for dinner. And then after dinner, we came back, got some drinks from the hotel bar, and then took a walk on the beach. Then I took another photo on the beach. I love beach photos like this. And then after we finished our walk on the beach, we went back and just kind of sat at the hotel bar for a little bit. This was the following morning, so our view from the bed in the hotel room, and then the sunrise on the beach. This was our breakfast photo that we took. This, I think, might be my favorite spread, actually. I love the way that this one turned out. This was a flower that I found when we went to get coffee. This was the coffee that I got, and the place that we went to is called Foxtail Coffee. And then a photo of me in front of the random art wall that we found. And then just to end the album with a little photo of myself and my husband. And then the last page in here, I could either just leave like this, or if I find that I don't have enough space to journal throughout the album, I will likely fill it up with some extra details. And that is it for our weekend getaway album. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let me know down in the comments below if you like videos of like kit crushing, I guess is what it's called. Because I did enjoy doing this, and I finished it in 1 hour and 15 minutes. So yay, go me. Now I just have to go do my journaling. Anyways, like I said, thank you so much for joining me, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.